Thank you, Hugh. So, for the first time since 2014, Chelsea embark on a Champions League quarter-final. And that their biggest tie in this competition for 7 years comes on the back of their biggest home defensive capitulation in the Premier League for 9.5, adds another layer of intrigue. The new reign under the Teutonic tutelage of Tuchel has already brought a remarkable transformation. But tonight sees the first opportunity to show their resilience. From 7 clean sheets in a row to shipping 5 in 45 minutes to a side in the bottom 3 is some departure. Harsh words, tough tackles and training ground ejections have followed. Antonio Rudiger plays tonight, the task to ensure that his departure from training on Sunday is April's only premature exit. Porto's dramatic away goals victory over Juventus was the pick of the ties in the round of 16, earning them another crack at a hurdle that they found insurmountable in the recent past. But they'll have poured over the Blues' defeat to West Brom, and Chelsea's ability to prove that that was a mere blip is clearly key tonight. Chelsea have come out in their predominantly pink kit with the blue trim, Porto in their blue and white striped shirts. Porto lining up like this: Agustin Marchesín, the Argentinian goalkeeper between the sticks; Manafá at right back, making his 100th appearance for the club; former Newcastle man Chancellor Mbemba alongside the veteran Pepe at centre-half; and Zaidu, the Nigerian full-back, on the left. Grujic on loan from Liverpool alongside the Uruguayan Uribe, the Colombian Uribe, I beg your pardon, in midfield; Corona and Otavio, the wingers; and Luis Diaz alongside Marega up top. Chelsea, Mendy in goal, Azpilicueta, Christensen and Rudiger; James, Kovacic, Jorginho and Chilwell; Havertz, Werner and Mount in some combination are the forward 3. Referee tonight is Slavko Vincic from Slovenia, and Pavel Gil from Poland is the VAR. Porto's last Champions League quarter-final victory came against Lyon on their way to winning the competition back in 2004. Chelsea's last quarter-final brought success on away goals against PSG in 2014, and they embark on their first tie at this stage of the competition for 7 years. We're underway. A Sevilla defeat at the weekend, and now a doubleheader in Seville for the chance to go through to a semi-final to face either Liverpool or Real Madrid. It is Chelsea kicking from left to right with a good early possession, and it is Kai Havertz, by the look of it, who's playing through the middle for Chelsea. James laying it back for Azpilicueta. He finds Christensen, who will bring the ball forward from the edge of his own box, lay it out towards the left-hand side for Rudiger, and spinning round the corner there is fouled. 30 seconds in, game taking place in Seville. Danny Mills, the former England defender, alongside me, Jim Proudfoot, watching on from our studio monitors in London. What will be an intriguing two-legged clash. First leg tonight, second leg live on TalkSport next Tuesday.
Just trying to get a grip of Chelsea's formation. It does look like it's Havertz that's going to be the false number 9, you know, in the middle. Timo Werner off the left-hand side, Mason Mount, you know, a narrow right-hand side, if you like, and then Havertz in that centre-forward position, which is, again, big gamble, I think.
Christensen bringing the ball out from the back, finding Havertz, who's just dropped that a little bit deeper. There's a good challenge that came in on him to regain possession. Laid back then through the midfield by Manafá. The right back just found himself in the central midfield for a moment, and now he will be able to play it forward. And down the inside right channel, a good foot in from Christensen, winning it back for Chelsea. And then it goes back for Edouard Mendy, who takes a touch inside his own penalty area and clears it down towards Reece James on the Chelsea right-hand side. There have been 8 previous meetings of these two clubs. Chelsea have won 5 of them. And Porto don't have a great record against English opposition in this competition. They've lost their last 6 two-legged ties against English sides since they beat Manchester United on the route to winning it under Jose Mourinho back in the 2003-2004 season. Werner making a good early run down the inside left channel, but cross comes Chancellor Mbemba. Will play it out towards Manafá, the right back, who will turn it forward, hoping to get a touch off Ben Chilwell, but didn't succeed. And he goes out of play for a throw which Chilwell himself will take. Havertz and Werner, if anything, got in each other's way for a moment, but Havertz will whip it across the face of the 6-yard box. Nobody was there. James can recycle it and keep it alive for Chelsea on the right flank. He lays it back through the midfield, whereas Azpilicueta will pick it up. From him to Christensen, now down towards Azpilicueta again, who bring it forward towards halfway, just exchanges passes neatly. Kovacic then over the top. And the idea was right for Chilwell's early run, but far too much on the ball forward. And it goes through to the goalkeeper, Manchester. 3 gone on TalkSport. It's plenty of Chelsea possession, but still 0-0.
Just looking as Havertz whips that ball across the face of the 6-yard box, and not a single Chelsea player in the 18-yard box. And this is maybe the only concern with Werner wanting to be down that left-hand side. Is a little bit of a free roll for Kai Havertz. If he drifts and wanders, there will be times where balls going into the box, whether they're played along the deck or crosses going in. Chelsea might not have anybody in there. It's great playing with complete freedom and giving players that, that option to go where they want to go. But there has to be some sort of formation and discipline of having people in the right areas.
Those thoughts of former England World Cup defender Danny Mills. The other game taking place tonight, Bayern Munich, the holders, taking on PSG, who they beat in the final last season, and PSG have already found the net in that. Kylian Mbappe, 2.5 minutes in. The game that's live for you right now over on TalkSport 2. Bayern Munich 0, PSG 1, and the winners of that take on either Manchester City or Dortmund in the semi-finals. This one 0-0 with play concentrated almost exclusively in Porto territory in the early stages, without Chelsea being able to remotely work Marchesine in these first 4.5 minutes. Ball played down towards Reece James. James can bring it into his stride and turn, try and get away from Otavio, who got back to his feet, having dived in for the initial challenge. With the 1-2 play with Jorginho in the midfield, and Chelsea working back for Christensen inside their own half again. 0-0.
I think, as we expected, Chelsea dominating possession. And that's why they've packed the midfield area. But what they are trying to do at the moment, and I think it's what is quite clever, they're trying to stretch the game. Clearly they know that obviously Werner's got pace in over the top, and that Porto want to play a high line, so they're playing those balls in behind to try and get that defence to drop and just create a little bit more space in that midfield area.
The ball's gone out of play for what has been given as a Chelsea throw. Otavio not happy with the decision. Reece James has it though for Chelsea, taken quickly. Azpilicueta back into the feet of the blue-booted Mason Mount, who made a spinning run down the touchline. James has turned the other way though, works it back for Azpilicueta. Now to Kovacic, out for Antonio Rudiger. Rudiger to Ben Chilwell on the Chelsea left. And back he goes for Rudiger again, and now to Christensen. Chelsea finding possession very easy to come by. Azpilicueta working down the channel. Mount trying to take on his man side, who's standing firm, but Mason Mount has won the first corner. 6 gone, 0-0.
Chelsea doing very, very well up until the final third. I think then players then looking up and thinking, well, there's no point crossing it because nobody really in the box. And even when they're looking to play that ball inside, coming in narrow, looking for the centre forward's feet, they're not really there, because that's not really Werner's game. It's not really Kai Havertz's game, coming to feet showing like a Giroud would do. So Chelsea not quite worked out how to play this system yet.
Corner is worked short in towards the near post, and then back out towards Mason Mount again. Chelsea trying to find a different angle to play the ball inside the penalty area, and that's just allowed Porto to push out. Havertz will chase the ball that's chipped back over the top, and it's easy for Marchesine. And as we said, that was a set piece that might have worked well at Cobham, but certainly didn't work well in Seville. 6.5 gone at 0-0.
I think Chelsea had 3 Weetabix for breakfast, haven't they? A lot of those balls over the top are going straight through to the goalkeeper.
Players stopped because of a collision in the midfield, which has put Corona on the deck. Mexican international winger. He's okay, he's back on his feet. He's just holding his face for a moment, but he is going to be able to continue. You're listening to Porto against Chelsea in the Champions League. It's live on TalkSport with McDonald's McDelivery. Order McDelivery now on the Uber Eats or Just Eat app. We deliver. Free kick to be taken after the challenge over on the right-hand touchline. Plenty of bodies making their way forward, including the 2 centre halves, and Bembury's in there. Marco Grujic, the man on loan from Liverpool, is lurking with his head around the edge of the box as well. 7 Porto players in their blue and white striped shirts. Mason Mount is just being spoken to by the referee. Mount is saying, I haven't got the grip of his shirt. I'm staying touch tight to him, but nothing untoward. Porto, similarly to Chelsea, resisting the temptation to work the ball inside the box, and they took the free kick 20 yards behind square and then worked it all the way back to the goalkeeper. That was from a position only about 15 yards outside the box. Really curious set pieces from both sides so far. Chelsea having picked that one off, try and get Jorginho to release Werner's run down the left hand side. It was a really poor pass, telegraphed somewhat, and Porto can knock it away. Neither side have got going yet. 8 minutes gone at 0-0.
No, they haven't. Please don't tell me that's off the training ground. That can't be what the manager's been working. I mean, all the centre halves went up. A great opportunity to put the ball into the box. They go square, 20 yards inside the Chelsea half, and then they go all the way back to the goalkeeper. That's madness.
It was bizarre. It was bizarre. It was one of the strangest set pieces you've seen.
If I'm one of the defenders that have come all the way up from the back and they've done that, I'm going absolutely mad at them. I've just had to run nearly 100 yards for absolutely nothing.
9 minutes in. Neither goalkeeper has had anything to do so far. James taking a throw quickly for Chelsea, almost level with the edge of the Porto penalty area. And the Blues in the pink tonight, finding Kovacic, now Azpilicueta, and now James again, creating a little bit more space, trying to work it down the line for Mason Mount. Sliding challenge comes in from Zaidu, Nigerian international who scored against Marseille in the group. Left back has got a fine reputation. That was a good challenge there. Put it out of play for a throw, which again Chelsea have taken quickly. Christensen inside central midfield, pushing forward. It's a decent ball. James will chase it, but just a little bit too long. And Zaidu in the end just got a little shove from James as the ball went over the line. Goes out of play. Goal kick. And in the 10th minute, it's still 0-0.
Havertz is not really playing a false 9, is he? He's playing the number 9.
Yeah.
He's very, very high and central all the time. It's not like he's dropping deep. He doesn't look massively comfortable in that position at the moment, because when players got the ball in midfield or in wide areas, you've got to come off your man. You've got to make that little run, 2 or 3 yard burst, to get a little bit of space so you can get on the half turn. And he's not really looking to do that at the moment.
Ball is flicked on dangerously down the left hand side of the penalty area for Porto. There's Corona chipping it inside the penalty area, and very well claimed by Mendy. It all came after a one ball fall from the goalkeeper, which was headed on for the run of Corona. Now Chilwell will play it forward. It's taken a touch off Uribe, brought down in the midfield by the barrel-chested Marega. He can't find his strike partner Luis Diaz, and it'll be played forward again from the back by Chelsea, trying to get Mount or Havertz to make a run in behind Pepe. Couldn't do so on that occasion, and play eventually stops, and it's going to be a free kick. That was more of a cause of concern. There's Jesus Corona with his nickname Tecatito on the back of his shirt, putting the ball down on the left hand side of the box and getting it in. Now Marega, and he's done well to work it inside the penalty area, and a good shot on the turn from Luis Diaz is blocked and goes out of play for a throw.
If the game continues like this, I think it's going to suit Porto, because it's scrappy. It's a little bit of a fight at the moment, isn't it? There's no one's really sort of stringing too many passes together. A few long balls as well. It's the style of play I think suits Porto.
Christensen heads it away, edge of the area. A shot comes in, and Mendy was just stumbling as Uribe tried his luck. He chested it down and then hit it right-footed towards the top left-hand corner. As I say, Mendy just looked as though he lost his footing for a moment as he was preparing to trot across his line. I was very grateful to see that one clear his bar and just go onto the roof of the net. 0-0.
It's a fantastic volley, wasn't it? Sort of flicked it up, set it up for himself. I think Mendy didn't really make an effort, but I don't think he was going to get anywhere near it. Had it have just dipped into the top corner, it just caught the back of the net as it dipped over the crossbar.
Uribe, you might remember, one of the Colombians that missed his penalty in the shootout against England in the last World Cup. And anchoring the midfield, normally alongside Sergio Oliveira, who's suspended today, and playing alongside Marco Grujic instead. 12 minutes gone, it's 0-0. And it's going to be a throw which will be taken over on the Porto right-hand side. Play back towards Pepe. Pepe, right-footed, bent over the top. Chilwell, the last man back, just lets it drop over his shoulder. And he goes out to play for a goal kick that will be taken by Mendy. Well, Porto got plenty of Champions League experience. Only Real Madrid and Barcelona have played in more Champions League campaigns than they. This is their 24th. Won the competition in 2004 under Jose Mourinho, having won the UEFA Cup the previous year. And also crowned champions of Europe back in 1987. Whenever they've won the quarterfinals, they have gone on to lift the trophy in the last few years. Ball over on the right-hand side. Porto in possession, midway inside Chelsea territory. Played through, chipped over the top by Otavio. Headed down, cleared by Kovacic. Otavio has it again. And towards Uribe. Otavio continuing his run. Little give and go with Luis Diaz. Trying to work the angle to get a right-footed shot in. He can't. Uribe can recycle it. Finds Zaidu towards the edge of the area. Otavio chipping it over the top. Zaidu missing his kick. The angle was quite tight, and he tried to put his left foot around it to wrap it across the face of goal, but completely missed his kick and ended up getting tackled by the invisible man. The ball, in fact, hit his trailing foot on the way through and goes innocuously over the line now to play for a goal kick. But they're yet to get going, Chelsea. I'm saying there's a hangover necessarily from the weekend, but they certainly haven't been at their best. 14 gone, and it's still goalless.
I think it's very hard to get going when you're looking for a centre forward. You know, you're looking to play the ball into feet. You need some sort of platform to attack from. And I said, you know, in the early few moments of the game, we're getting the ball, passing it around well, and then getting into the final third and thinking, well, now what? Now where do we go with this? Who are we looking for? Who's coming to feet? Who can we bounce the ball off in this situation? I think they haven't got to grips with Havertz playing in that central role at the moment.
Chelsea had 70% of the possession through the first 14 minutes. They haven't had a single attempt so far. Have a free kick now after a foul by Grujic. Just a little bit overzealous as he pushed Jorginho to the ground, and the Italian international wins a free kick. The ball will be played out to the Chelsea left. There's a flock of birds that is circling. You might be able to hear on the effects microphone that's coming from pitch side, just the high-pitched squealing of the birds as they circle around. Thomas Tuchel similarly mirroring their movements, circling around the edge of his technical area. No high-pitched squeals from him yet.
Any idea what type of birds, Jim? Except flying ones?
From 1,000 miles away, no. Black ones, but not blackbirds.
Oh, you know Bill Oddie, are you?
I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. The ball is played out to the Porto right.
If you're a twitcher, it's a bad thing.
Goes out of play for a throw, which will be taken over on the Chelsea left-hand side by Ben Chilwell. 16 minutes gone. Porto 0, Chelsea 0. Ball thrown down the Chelsea left-hand side. Good movement from Mason Mount. Havertz making his way into the middle. James is arriving at the far post, but it was easily claimed by Marchesine, who comes out and takes it off the head of Reece James and bowls it out quickly. Opportunity for Porto to try and get going again with Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz, the Colombian who scored at Manchester City back on match day 1. He netted against Marseille as well. And he's gone all the way back to his goalkeeper. Marchesine bringing it under control and just playing it out of the D and preparing to launch it forward long. 16 minutes gone. Tomorrow from 10 o'clock, don't forget to listen to the Aintree preview show on TalkSport 2, where Rupert Bell and Lizzie Kelly will be live from the course to preview the day's racing for the National Festival. We're going to be joined by legendary jockey Dickie Johnson as well after his surprise retirement this week. Our fellow top jockey Harry Cobden. You can always listen to TalkSport 2 by downloading the TalkSport app via the website or via your smart speaker. And over on TalkSport 2 right now, PSG continue to lead Bayern Munich by a goal to nil. Long throw inside the Chelsea penalty area, bounces awkwardly in front of Marega. Pepe is up there, it didn't bounce kindly for him. Uribe then tried a right-footed volley, but it didn't sit up as he needed it to, and it's cleared. No outball though for Chelsea. Werner will drop deep and try and link it up through the midfield. Mount played it on towards Havertz. It was a poor ball, but under duress he was caught, and it's a free kick that Chelsea will take just inside their own half. 0-0 and it's just not working for Chelsea, really. The shape that they're playing and the personnel that are out there is not bringing the best out of them up to this point.
No, it's a scrappy fight at the moment, isn't it? And Chelsea now can't sort of really get a foothold in the game. And when the only out ball they have is the long ball over the top for Werner. And that's not really on. I mean, they're reading it. They know what's coming. There's no other option, because you can't play the ball up into Havertz, can't play it into his chest, can't play it into his head to flick it on or anything like that. It's got to be so precise. It's very, very difficult. And we talk about, there aren't too many teams that can play with a false 9 or a number 9 that isn't a number 9, if you like. Just think if Drogba was in this side, or Diego Costa, be a completely different team, wouldn't it? Just by adding one proper centre forward.
Oh, there you say Olivier Giroud, potentially, who's...
I think he's an even better foil than what they've got at the moment, because in a game like this, where it's going to be scrappy at times, you need a focal point. You need somebody to hold the ball up, that you can play the ball into, that is going to get hold of it, and then players can run off him.
This is the ground where Giroud scored 4 goals earlier this season, the oldest player ever to score 4 in a Champions League tie, as he put 4 past Sevilla in the group stage. Well, 2 very impressive away wins that Chelsea mustered. 4-0 victory here and a 4-0 win in Krasnodar. Also won away at Rennes, and having beaten Atletico Madrid as well in the knockout stages, they are 4 from 4 on the road in the Champions League so far this season, having scored 11 and only conceded the 1. 0-0 tonight, and no sign of a sight of goal as far as Chelsea concerned through the opening 19 minutes, but only one isolated moment of half alarm at the other end. Azpilicueta playing it forward, but not accurately. Mopped up by Seydu in the midfield.
Sorry, Jim. Chelsea are predictable at the moment. They're either looking to play the long ball from the back 3 over the top to try and get in behind the defence, or everything has to go through midfield, and it slows everything down. They can't play balls directly into the front men. Can't go straight into Werner or Havertz. They're not really showing and wanting the ball at the moment, and therefore by the time you've played into midfield and then the midfield players have turned, you know, even the likes of Pepe, that isn't obviously the quickest anymore at his age, are finding it very, very comfortable.
We've got more live European football for you tomorrow night here on TalkSport. Granada taking on Manchester United, their first ever European quarter-final. United hoping to get to the semi-finals of that competition again, as they did last season. Dean Ashton will be alongside me for that. We'll keep you up to date as well of events as they unfold from Arsenal against Slavia Prague. The build-up starts with Hugh tomorrow night, 7 o'clock here on TalkSport. And here and now, we're 20 minutes in. It's 0-0 in the first leg of the Champions League quarter-final between Chelsea and Porto. It's Chelsea's away game, but as we've been mentioning, both games will be played at the Estadio Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan in Seville. Opportunity for Porto now from a set piece, which will be taken about 20 yards outside the penalty area.
Back to the keeper. Can't do that again, surely.
No, we've seen that one now. The surprise element won't be there. It's going to be a free kick bent in, trying to get it in behind the Chelsea defensive line. He's taking a couple of touches on the way through and off Rudiger last, and out for the first corner of the night.
A little bit of confusion in that Chelsea defence as that ball is whipped in quite low. Nobody really attacks the ball. Chelsea a little bit static.
So the first corner of the night, first Porto corner of the night. Chelsea have had one themselves. Chelsea defending zonally by and large, with plenty of bodies inside the 6-yard box, and none of the Porto players there to keep them company. They're all making their runs from late. Pepe in towards the near post with the targets come off the top of his head, and then 2 Chelsea players attack the same ball, Kovacic and Jorginho. Between them they have been able to smuggle it away, and he goes out for a throw that Zaidu will take on the Porto left-hand side. We're almost midway through the first half here on TalkSport. Jim Proudfoot and Danny Mills talking through the action, where Chelsea have been less than spectacular so far at 0-0. Ball out of play off Reece James, and that'll be another corner, as it was just flicked into him by Corona. A corner which Corona himself will leave. He will vacate the scene and make his way inside the penalty area. Marega scored in 6 successive Champions League ties a couple of years ago. The principal aerial target for delivery from Tavio. There is an opportunity to work it short here. Tavio has got Corona right next to him. It's chipped back in for Corona's run inside the box. Pepe trying to react near post, and getting a shot in from a tight angle. He's put it straight into Azpilicueta from close range, and now to play for another corner.
Porto had trying to be too clever almost, playing little short set pieces, dinking it up, flicking it over people's heads. I think we've already seen that Chelsea look relatively vulnerable from crosses and set pieces. They just swung the ball into the box.
Tavio's going to do exactly that this time, in towards the near post, and Mendy had to come across and get there. In punching it clear, it fell for Pepe, worked it back inside the 6-yard box. Zayden couldn't react quickly enough, and a presentable chance comes to the It was a brilliant delivery from Tavio. So much in-swing on it, almost he see Mendy at his near post. He got it away, and Pepe and Zayden between them couldn't do the rest to make the most of the situation.
I don't think he meant it, but he did swing it in very, very quickly. There was nobody at the near post, and Mendy was scrambling in the end. Managed to get 2 good hands on it and push it away, but didn't manage to get it around the post or back out for the corner. And the follow-up, as you say, was unlucky. Could have easily gone into an empty net.
Chelsea looking to break quickly with Reece James down the right-hand side. Fires it in towards the near post. Chancellor and Mbemba covered an awful lot of ground and puts it out of play for a second Chelsea corner. Mbemba never really hit the heights in his time at St James's Park. 60-odd games for Newcastle, but has been a great acquisition for Porto. There to defend this corner, which James swings in. The top of the heads inside the box. Jorginho trying to work it back forward, and the counter-attack will be on because Porto have knocked it away. And but for a poor touch from Luis Diaz, they had the opportunity to break quickly. James then mops up and guides it 60 yards behind him to his goalkeeper.
He hesitated, didn't he? I don't know why he hesitated. He had Jorginho to beat. All he had to do was knock it past him, and Jorginho was never going to catch him. He had 60 yards of space in behind him, and for whatever reason, that moment of hesitation, he just stumbled on his touch, and Jorginho was able to get the tackle. Very, very fortunate for Chelsea.
Porto did win the double last season. They'll probably find themselves 8 points off the top in Portugal behind Sporting. They've got 9 games remaining there, but it's going to take some effort if they're going to be able to overhaul them. They are unbeaten in the last 19 league games, so in decent form. Only 3 defeats in 33 matches in all competitions for Sergio Conceição's men. Chelsea, for their part, just the 1 defeat in 16, which, of course, came at the weekend. 0-0 to score, but the better opportunities, although they've been few and far between, have come Porto's way. 4 attempts without reply, yet to hit the target of those Zayden really should have given them the lead a couple of minutes ago. Ball is in the hands of the right back Wilson Manafar. Played left back at the weekend, but his favoured right back position again today as he makes his 100th appearance for the club. Plays it forward towards halfway, and there was a yelp of pain that you heard, a foul by Christensen, and a free kick that will be taken by Porto, taken a little bit too quickly, and the referee's shrill blast of the whistle just signifies that he wants it to be taken again with the ball stationary from the right place.
I know it's only 26 minutes gone, Jim, but surely Thomas Tuchel must be looking at this thinking, it's not working. This is not in the playbook. This is not what I was expecting from this side.
It's not remotely working. That's the frustrating thing. It's not as if you're looking at it and thinking, okay, I can see what they're trying to do, and there are signs of promise, and they haven't found the final pass. They haven't been able to execute it as he would want. It's nowhere near as good as that, really. It's just disjointed at the moment. It's a disparate attempt to try and get balls forward inside the penalty area that can seldom find a man. That time, where you can kind of see what they're trying to do, they worked it long for Weahler's run, trying to get him isolated against Mbemba. Made his run a little bit too early and was caught offside, but the quality of the ball wasn't there that time. But it's hard to really explain how Chelsea's forward 3 are working together to good effect, because it's not happening at the moment.
They're simply not. And they're very, very predictable. As I said, it's either Christensen or Rudiger, Azpilicueta looking for that one long ball over the top from deep. doesn't matter how quick Werner is, that's quite easy to spot. You can drop off 10 yards and you can pick that up, and if you overhit it, go straight through to the goalkeeper. And then when they're trying to play into midfield, there's times where players get their heads up and they're looking for, can I drive it into the centre forward? Can I bypass the midfield and can I get it into Havertz's feet? Can I hit Werner's feet? And they're looking up and going, no, I can't. Either they're not on or they're not looking for it.
Just a little clash of heads there involving Reece James. But neither player involved needed treatment. Play goes on quickly. Work forward towards Ottavio inside the penalty area. Good covering from Chilwell, who very quickly got between Ottavio and the ball and was able to sweep it up, put it out of play for a throw that will be taken over on the Porto right-hand side. It's something that we talked about last night, the premium on sides to score the away goal, and how the dynamic in European football has changed markedly over the last 7-8 years or so. But we've seen very little from Chelsea, and just to reiterate the point, unfortunately, haven't had a single shot on target, a single shot off target with 28 minutes gone. Instead, the possession has predominantly been down the other end latterly, and Porto have a fourth corner now.
I just wonder if the away goal is affected a little bit, the fact that both games are away. Maybe players don't quite appreciate that it is away. I mean, that sounds daft, but you know, when you go away from home, you know you're away from home. You know that's your away game, because both games are in the same stadium away from home. Maybe there's just a little bit more caution.
Well, the bottom line is Tuchel's men need to score. He's sitting on his bench at the moment as the camera pans to him and chuntering away to himself, looking very animated. There's a bottle of water that he's drinking, seems to be getting a fair bit of punishment. 29 minutes in, and the side need to start providing some answers for him. Defensively, they've been better than they were at the weekend. That is a positive, but that's the only positive at the moment.
But having said that, Porto have looked, I think, quite good in the final third. One or two little passes in and around the box, looking sharp, looking good from set-piece deliveries as well. I have to say, I think Porto are the better side at the moment.
Marquinhos has added a second goal for PSG, and the Champions League holders in real trouble. Bayern 0, PSG 2 in the game that's live for you right now over on TalkSport 2. Here on TalkSport, you listen to Porto against Chelsea, the Champions League, with Music Magpie, UK's #1 phone recycler. Get cash for your tech the smart way. Werner lays it off for Reece James. James to Jorginho, who's 15 yards outside the penalty area. Into the feet of Cesar Azpilicueta, worked very quickly back through the midfield. Kovacic glides the ball down towards Mount. Mount committing the left-back Zaidu. Played it out towards Reece James. James chased after the ball, slightly overhit, but can keep it in. Finds Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta to Jorginho, to Kovacic. Jorginho then for Christensen. Now out towards Antonio Rudiger. Rudiger, who's started many more games this season since Tuchel took over than he did under Lampard. Now Azpilicueta back out towards Reece James again on the right-hand side. Better ball in from Chelsea. And Pepe knocks it away, and out of play for a corner.
Chelsea again in that final third, getting into good positions. Don't really look like they've got the belief and the confidence in Havertz or Werner to whip the ball in early for them, or give it into their feet in and around the edge of the box.
Pepe's clearance actually just went the other side of the corner flag, and so Chelsea have a throw which they take in quickly with James, and the ball very quickly in the centre of midfield with Kovacic. He'll play forward towards Havertz, just drifting into a deeper position this time, but the Porto defenders not fall. They're not going with him significantly, they're just letting him drop into those kinds of areas and staying condensed when they haven't got possession. James, high ball in from Jorginho towards the far post, which bounces once. Ben Chilwell picks it up. Back from him to Havertz, inside the box. Layoff from him outside the area for Mateo Kovacic. Back towards the corner of the penalty area again for Chilwell. Chelsea with some more sustained possession in and around the edge of the Porto penalty area. Good ball in, good turn. Mason Mount has scored! And there is the away goal for Chelsea, out of nothing. The first good move of the game, and Mason Mount on the end of it, the right-hand side of the area, able to fire the ball across the face of Marchesine, whose despairing lunge with his right foot couldn't keep it out. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1, very much against the run of play.
completely against the run of play. I think even Thomas Tuchel got up from the bench and went, how did that happen? I wasn't really expecting that the way the game was going. I mean, Mason Mount, Chelsea's brightest player, on that side. He just drops up. He's demanding the ball. He wants the ball from Kovacic. It's a very clever turn. He lets the ball sort of run through his legs. Little reverse Cruyff turn, and then he's into the box, and he's got one thing on his mind, that shoot. It's not the cleanest connection in the world. Should the goalkeeper maybe do a little bit better with that one? I think when he sees it back, he might be a little bit disappointed, but it's a good finish from Mason Mount. But against the run of play, Chelsea somehow managed to get themselves in the lead.
Well, it's been a very disjointed and in many ways dispiriting opening half hour as far as Chelsea are concerned, but they have the advantage and a crucial away goal as well. The first ever European goal scored by Mason Mount. 22 ties in his career, and he's broken his European duck and has done so superbly. What a critical moment that could be, and a platform for Chelsea to build upon on a night where they haven't done themselves justice so far, but they do have the lead. 1-0 up. Here's Reece James as Chelsea play out from the back, inviting the press. Chilwell works down towards Azpilicueta, and he was put under pressure, but it's a foul and a free kick that'll be taken by Chelsea on the right-hand touchline. 11 to the break. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 on TalkSport.
Maybe I'm doing Mason Mount a disservice. I think the turn was exceptional. The awareness. Werner's not dropping into those spaces. Havertz is not dropping into those spaces. Mason Mount is the only one looking to come off a couple of yards.
As it almost broke for Werner inside the penalty area, but it was clear.
And get the ball to feet and get on the half turn. And that's exactly what he done. He came off, demanded the ball, so just let it through his legs, knew where the defender was, and the shot into the far corner. Didn't hit, it wasn't the cleanest of strikes, but it's still into the far corner. And again, maybe I'm guilty of that there. Not giving Mason Mount enough credit for what he's done there. He's been the one looking for the ball. He's been the only sort of real active one in that front three.
8 goals for him last season, 8 goals for him now this season as well. And Chelsea leading by a goal to 0. The ball was played for by Porto, and the offside flag was shown. And a free kick taken short and back for Mendy. Mendy conceded 5 at the weekend after only 2 goals in his previous 11 games in the Premier League and Champions League combined. 20 clean sheets in his first 33 appearances for Chelsea is an outstanding record. Christensen with a touch. Down towards Reece James, who will be able to bring it forward. Bayern Munich 0, PSG 2. And Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Scores tonight in the Champions League. And a reminder that the winners of this are the winners of Liverpool against Real Madrid. 3-1 to Real Madrid in the 2018 final, and 3-1 to Real Madrid in the first leg last night. Same scoreline. Ball will be played forward. Down towards the Chelsea right-hand side for Azpilicueta. His ball forward, and Mount again has done well just to come inside and try and spin in behind him. But Pepe came across to mop up. So that'll play for a throw to be taken with the edge of the penalty area. But Mount just showing that little bit of quality and a bit of spark and invention.
He's the only one of the front three doing what he's supposed to be doing. Now that's the problem for Chelsea. You've got a front three, but only one is performing at the moment.
Ball played out towards Ben Chilwell, but just too heavy for him. And he drifts out for a goal kick. So Mount is playing on the right-hand side of the forward three with Havertz in the middle, albeit that he's dropping off at times. Werner on the left has hardly touched it so far tonight. They just can't get him into the game at all.
Havertz hasn't had too many touches either, has he? Unless he's had to drift out really, really wide and get into those positions. He's no centre forward. The game is, I know Chelsea are 1-0 up, but the game is screaming out for Olivier Giroud. That's what they need. Someone to just hold the ball up. So when Mason Mount comes off, because he can play a little bit deeper than the centre forward. He comes off half turn into space, flick it round the corner into Giroud, and then go and play 1-2s, play off him.
Azpilicueta clears his lines. Chelsea playing out from the back, but Azpilicueta knew when to play it short, when to play it long, and then an attempt by Havertz to win the ball in the air. Decided ducking his head in towards it. There was an inevitable collision between the pair of them, and a free kick has been given. It was a Mount, I beg your pardon, that just caught him seemed to catch him on the hand, but he held his face. But it will be a free kick which will be taken by Pepe for Porto. Chelsea next in action away to Crystal Palace at the weekend, 5:30 on Saturday. And we've got that one exclusive for you on TalkSport from Selhurst Park this Saturday tea time. Also on Saturday, Manchester City against Leeds from 12:30, and then from the Championship, Millwall, Swansea and Bournemouth, Coventry, 12:30 and 3 o'clock respectively. And also Game Day Live with Adrian Durham, who's at Pride Park for Derby against Norwich, as the Canaries get ever closer back to the Premier League. And updates from every game that matters. Goal back for Bayern Munich. Maxim Choupo-Moting has scored for Bayern. Bayern 1, PSG 2. Porto 0, Chelsea 1, and the one that we're concentrating on here on TalkSport. And the ball is a long one that's played forward down the right-hand side of the penalty area, but easily picked up by Marchesine. Chelsea 6.5 minutes away from having a half-time lead. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 now.
If Chelsea want to play this system and play this way, I think you've got to sacrifice Timo Werner. I'd put Olivier Giroud straight down the middle and play Kai Havertz in a similar sort of position off the left that Mason Mount is doing on the right-hand side, where they can actually drop a little bit deeper and they can pick the ball up, turn, and when they then do turn, they've got somebody to play the ball into.
Chelsea have a good record in the quarterfinals of this competition. It's their 10th European Cup or Champions League quarterfinal. They won 7 of the previous 9. The last quarterfinal brought success and away goals against PSG. Their only quarterfinal defeats in this competition coming at the hands of Barcelona in 2000 and to Manchester United, you'll remember, 10 years ago. They've got their noses in front in this one on aggregate, and with a critical away goal. Marchesine playing it forward over the head of Marega. Chilwell can mop up. Marega putting the pressure on and given a shove off the ball there by Marega. The referee not penalising that. Surely must have seen it. Chilwell did get it back to his goalkeeper. It was right in front of the assistant referee. Ball played down from the resulting throw into the feet of Otavio, right-hand side of the box. Otavio trying to get the better of Rudiger, stands up across towards the back post. Zaidu, the left-back, is going to be able to pick it up, gets towards the bar, he works it in, couldn't get the angle right. Mount almost caught in possession. Chelsea can bring it away and whack it forward long, where Havertz will try and make something of it, but couldn't beat Chancellor Mbemba. And it'll be played then down towards Corona. Now Luis Diaz controlling it on the left-hand touchline. His ball forward. Laid off by Grujic. Tall Serbian midfielder into the feet on the edge of the penalty area. Reece James can knock it away. Havertz trying to hold it up, couldn't do so. Mbemba won it easily. And then it's worked out towards the Porto right-hand side for Manafá. And he goes back towards Otavio. Porto having more of the possession now, trying to get themselves back into this game. Long crossfield ball headed away by Reece James, volleyed high up in the air by Mount, headed on then by Jorginho, brought down neatly in the midfield by Otavio, and Havertz caught him, and it's a free kick which will be taken by Porto about 20 yards or so outside the Chelsea penalty area. 1-0 Chelsea lead with 41 gone on TalkSport.
This could be a dangerous position. It's one of those where a good strike from distance could cause the goalkeeper some serious problems. It's a good enough distance to hit it with power, get it up and down over the wall. In Havertz, it's making an unnecessary challenge on Otavio.
So he might have opened up his groin there. Otavio in some discomfort. Mendy trying to make sure that the wall is in the right place. Otavio back on his feet, one of those that is having a look at this with a great degree of interest. Marega in there as an aerial target, surely going to be Otavio to chip it in. It's beyond range, you'd feel, for a direct shot. Right-footed ball just clipped inside that danger area. Defensive header away, right-footed volley came back in. It was very well struck by Corona and deflected away by Azpilicueta for a corner.
Good block from Azpilicueta, was on his toes. It might have just squeaked in the far corner. I'm not sure Mendy would have got across. Saw it late with all the defenders there. Really good block from Azpilicueta.
So a corner that will be taken on the Porto right flank. Their fifth of this first half as they try and get themselves back on level terms. Pepe making another darting near post run, gets his head to it, beaten away at the near post by Mendy. Routine save, but pushes it past the post now for another corner.
Decent header on target. Could he have caught that? Wasn't the most powerful of headers.
It's not taking any chances. In comes the resulting corner. Uribe getting his head to that. Mendy can come out and catch that one. And now we'll just wait for players to push upfield before bowling it out calmly for Azpilicueta. Blue plaster cast around his lower left arm. Played forward over the halfway line. Ball sitting up on what looks like a stiffish breeze in Spain this evening. Ball played out to the right flank for Porto, who work it again all the way back for their goalkeeper Marchesín. And he guides it out towards Pepe. Pepe, who won this competition back in 2016 in his Real Madrid days. He's in the Porto side that was beaten by Chelsea back in 2004 and 2007 as well. In his first spell with the club, he's a veteran of nearly 800 games for club and country now. He's got himself a free kick as the ball hit the arm of Havertz. The referee potentially took exception before that to Azpilicueta's challenge for the ball with Luis Diaz. Free kick is taken short, down towards Luis Diaz, the Colombian, bringing it infield, away from Mount, plays that to Manafar. 2-1 PSG a lead, way to Bayern Munich, 1-0 Chelsea leading against Porto in this away leg, both games being played in Seville. Manafar turning it forward through a forest of legs, picked up by Marco Grujic. They have missed Sergio Oliveira tonight. Porto now with a real eye for a pass. Otavio's right-footed ball inside the penalty area is headed away by Azpilicueta in a very central position. Pepe then turns it forward, picked up on the Porto left-hand side by Zaidu. And James though has won it and goes back for Azpilicueta, and now James will have it again. Into the final 30 seconds of the first half. A little bit of time to be added, but not much. A minute at most, you feel. Otavio back for Mbemba. Manafar involved. Now for Otavio again. Otavio just playing a straight ball through. Uribe with a lovely turn, and still he goes towards the edge of the area. Gets the right footed shot in. Hits Rudiger and goes out of play for another corner.
Fabulous turn. But just too many players for Chelsea in the way of him. 4 or 5 defenders all crowding around him to make sure he can't get the shot on target. But Porto definitely been the better side in this first half.
In comes the corner, it's an away swinger. Heads go up for it. Grujic, one of the tallest men on the field, able to power a header down into the turn. Mendy can make a collapsing save, and that is the end of the first half. The scoreline doesn't begin to tell the story. Chelsea, so much possession, but second best for the opening half hour. But a moment of real quality from Mason Mount, providing his first ever goal in European football, has given Chelsea a crucial advantage. They have not been at their best, but they have the lead. Half-time in Seville, Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Hugh, thank you very much indeed. It will be Porto that will get us underway for the second half. Blue and white striped shirts and blue shorts. Chelsea in their predominantly pink with the blue trim. Well, there went just a little bit too early, and the kick-off delayed. But we are now back underway. Ball headed straight out of play for a throw which will be taken over on the Porto left-hand side. I suppose looking at it from a positive point of view for Chelsea, defensively they did restrict Porto to only occasional sights of goal. There was the one chance that fell Zaidu's way, but Mendy didn't really have a difficult save to make over the course of 45 minutes. But getting Havertz and Werner away from merely having a peripheral contribution has to be essential for Chelsea over the next 45 minutes, you feel. They do lead courtesy of that Mason Mount goal, his first ever in European competition, which, when you consider that he was affiliated with the club from the age of 6, will have been a very special moment for him. Chelsea have it with Christensen at the back. Played out towards Azpilicueta, now towards Jorginho. Talk you through the two teams in just a moment as Chelsea bring it forward again over the halfway line. Havertz laying it off for Kovacic, who can make a good driving run. We didn't see any of that in the first half. Back out towards the right-hand side of the area. Mount clipping it in. Werner with a header over the bar. Should have scored.
Got to at least hit the target, Jim. And it's a decent ball in. And it's Mason Mount on the ball, picking him out. I think it's Havertz gets in his way a little bit. He's got a free header. He's got time to see it coming. Got time to jump. Times it pretty well, but no real conviction in the header, and it just drifts over top of the crossbar.
Well, that was a glorious opportunity.
Olivier Giroud hits the target in that position.
Maybe just a couple of inches higher than he would have liked it, but nevertheless he'll be disappointed that he couldn't make more of that. But a better start from Chelsea, much more dynamic and purposeful as they went through the midfield. Chilwell wins the throw off Otavio. Chelsea with Mendy in goal, Azpilicueta, Christensen and Rudiger, the back three. James, Kovacic, Jorginho and Chilwell, and then Mount, Havertz and Werner, the forward three. Porto, Marchesini in goal, Manafá, Bemba, Pepe and Zaidu, Corona, Grujic, Uribe, Otavio and Luis Diaz and Marega up front.
Olivier Giroud, okay, we know what he's all about. We know about his age and everything else, and he must be frustrated. But Tammy Abraham must be looking at this and just thinking, my time's up at Chelsea, because Thomas Tuchel does not fancy me at all.
Abraham still Chelsea's leading goal scorer this season. Scored 12 in his 30 games. He hasn't played for 7 weeks, injured his ankle against Newcastle and picked up a recurrence of that problem in the first half against Southampton, but he is now fit. Not involved in the matchday squad at the weekend and on the bench this evening, still to be called upon. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 the scoreline. Mason Mount's goal the difference between the two teams. You're with Talk Sport. Our coverage brought to you with McDonald's McDelivery. Order McDelivery now and get McDonald's delivered straight to your doorstep. Mendy bowling the ball out from the back. Reminder that over on TalkSport 2 right now, in the Bavarian snow, Bayern Munich 1, PSG 2. And the second half of that game just about to get underway. We're playing in 4 minutes of the second half of this one. The ball angled over the top from Jorginho. Straight through for Marchesine. Clad in all black, the Porto goalkeeper, the Argentinian, playing it out from the back to Mbemba, to Grujic, Manafá, back for Mbemba again. He will control it and go behind Squadra Pepe on the edge of his own penalty area, and he in turn goes back for Marchesine again. High ball fall from him, trying to turn Christensen with a nervy, slightly off balance header which only fell for Otavio, and Otavio just lays it out towards the left hand touchline for Zaidu. Uribe making a run which created a little bit of space for Luis Diaz, dropping off the forward line. Back out to that left flank again for Porto, and another opportunity to try and get it forward. Otavio. Chelsea with nearly everybody back behind the ball. High crossfield ball, a slight miscontrol from Corona, but he's still able to pick it up, and he'll take it past Werner, then try and nutmeg Chilwell, but having got the ball past him, he couldn't follow him, and he goes through into the hands of Mendy. Still, Chelsea leading 1-0.
Yeah, got a little bit lucky, I think, with a nutmeg in the end, and the ball had gone 5 or 6 yards past him. He was never going to get it. Sort of threw himself to the ground looking for a foul, but the referee was wise to it.
Intensity of the Porto press again, just giving Chelsea a little bit to think about. Ball play forward, then long by Mendy. Havertz trying to put the pressure on Manafá. Porto thought there was a handball in there, and
they weren't the only ones, Jim. I thought it was as well.
Just the one hand from Kai Havertz.
And quite clearly a handball.
Just leaning back. Bemba indicating that he thought it should be a yellow card. Mendy. Oh, it's a defensive mix-up, and Mendy does well to make the save. Well, the ball was played forward. I think Chelsea's backline thought Marega was offside. He wasn't. And then Rudiger was leaving it for his goalkeeper to come and deal with whilst he was appealing for an offside flag. Wasn't even close to being offside. It was a good yard on. Mendy eventually able to make the save. And Marega, frustrated that he couldn't do better. Rudiger getting away with one there. It is a corner. Otavio swinging that in deep over the head of Pepe. Complete miskick from Zaidu, who rattle his left foot through thin air in a bid to try and volley it towards goal. Linked up by Luis Diaz towards the edge of the centre circle. Now played back out towards that left flank again. Another ball swung in via a deflection. Couldn't find a rebound. Brought under control by Verners, just giving it away. Presented it straight to the nearest Porto player.
And that's what Olivier Giroud would not do. You know, when that ball comes into him, he gets hold of it. He keeps possession.
Another long crossfield ball is headed away by Chilwell. Brought down on the right-hand side neatly by Corona, who can turn and play forward towards Wilson Manafa, making his run outside him. Kovacic in there, involved in the skirmishes around the edge of the penalty area, can divert it clear. And he goes out of play for a throw which has been taken quickly. Better span of possession. This is a decent through ball as well. An attempt to win a penalty from Luis Diaz, who took a tumble after Corona's through ball. Knew he wasn't going to get there and tried to give the referee something to think about, but there was absolutely no way that was anything other than a dive.
No, I didn't think of it at first view. There's a coming together, but it's never a penalty in any way, shape or form. But just before that, you're right, Rudiger got away with one. He was very, very fortunate. There was no way, it wasn't even close to being offside as Marega went through. And I think it was a lack of communication between Rudiger and Mendy, and then at last minute he sort of threw his arm in the air for offside in desperation. But it was definitely a communication issue. I think he thought that Mendy was going to come out, he didn't. Good job it wasn't Kepa in goal, eh?
Yeah, they might have had words with each other. Here's Rudiger in possession again. Rudiger in the starting lineup despite that bust up at the weekend. Kepa on the bench again. Ball out to the Chelsea right for James. James trying to work it into the path of Mason Mount, who made sure at the last moment that he got kept away from Pepe, seeing that Pepe was off balance. To make sure that it was a corner and not a cheap free kick conceded. Pepe going to ground, but it is a corner. Chelsea's first of the second half, which will be taken on their right flank. We're 8.5 minutes into the second period. Mason Mount's goal on 32, the difference between the sides. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 on TalkSport. In comes the corner. No, the players just asked to wait. And what's the referee seen? Whistle blown before it was delivered. So the pushing and shoving that's going on is just going to be calmed down. Azpilicueta's involved. He's got a fistful of Zaydou's shirt. I've seen the replay. Actually, it doesn't appear to be too much in it.
Why don't referees just let that go and then make a decision when it comes into the box?
As soon as the ball's kicked, that can then be a penalty. In it comes. Marega does well to head it away. Jorginho facing his own goal, forced to lay it back. Kovacic, who is the only man that has stayed back, hooks it forward. James lets it bounce, tries to bring it under control under pressure from Luis Diaz. And Grujic has done really well just to turn away from trouble and then open up his long-ranging stride and bring it forward here for Porto. 9 goals second half, Porto 0, Chelsea 1 remains the score. Porto inside the centre circle, high ball over the top, which will be chased and brought under control over on the left flank by Corona. He can't find a way past Reece James, but he's forced to stick out his left boot as the England international to steer it away for a corner.
Porto still the better side, Jim, I think, the way that they're playing at the moment. Chelsea still haven't really got to grips with this formation in their front three, have they?
Plenty to consider. We're 10 minutes into the second half. Porto 0, Chelsea 1. The result better than the performance. High ball swept inside the penalty area. Pepe going up for it. Mendy stuck in traffic. Couldn't get the touch. Diverted towards goal. Cleared off the line by Chilwell. It is eventually poked in, but only long after the whistle had gone for an offside. And there was a foul in there as well, I think, on Rudiger. It ends up being a free kick to Chelsea inside their own 6-yard box.
No real complaints, but Mendy came through a crowd of players. Didn't really get anywhere near it. What's he given? Is offside, I think, as the ball goes up. But does that definitely come off Pepe? Is that possibly Mendy punching it? I mean, that's an incredibly tight call for the linesman to make when a goalkeeper's coming through a crowd of players and trying to punch the ball. I mean, if he's seen that 100%, that is proper eagle-eyed vision.
I would imagine Well, I was going to say, I would imagine that the VAR had a look at it. They can't have done. I'll tell you why in a moment, as the ball is played forward. And again, Porto on the front foot towards the edge of the area. Right footed shot. Oh, that's a whisker wide. Mendy diving to his left-hand side. Very grateful to see that one go past the post. Luis Diaz with the effort on the turn from the edge of the box. That was much better from Porto. Really well-struck shot, and credit to Mendy. I think he did have it covered had it been creeping inside that post.
Just about had it covered. He might have got his fingertips onto it. Just about pushed it onto the post, perhaps, but Luis Diaz, great touch out of his feet, opened up the goal and just trying to bend it in the far corner, inches away.
But just going back to that previous incident,
the whistle had gone, hadn't it, Jim?
The whistle, absolutely, the whistle had gone before the ball got poked in the net, so the VAR couldn't have a look at it. They did get the decision right, but as you say, it was a very good call from the assistant referee, looking along the line and judging that it was Pepe that had touched it on. It was Chancellor Mbemba who was offside.
But after seeing what happened last night, with the Jude Bellingham situation where the referee blew his whistle way too soon, I mean, sometimes, for the sake of 2 seconds, just wait. And make sure it's spot on, because last night, they got it right this evening, maybe by a little bit of luck, perhaps. Last night was a terrible decision for Jude Bellingham.
Yes, absolutely, totally agree. And it was the fact that they just didn't let it run. That was the critical error, really, as Kovacic plays it forward and it's knocked away. It was a poor call, easily. Those can happen, but when you have the processes in there to be able to provide a safety net for a poor call, you've got to use that safety net.
Especially in that situation where, the touch takes him basically into an open goal. You've then only got to wait for 2 or 3 seconds, and then you can go straight to VAR. Whistle happy, I think, last night, the referee.
Manchester City getting away with that moment. 2-1 up they are from their first leg. We've got the second leg a week tonight, live on TalkSport, of Dortmund at home to Manchester City. And you can hear that one, as I say, with Stuart Pearce alongside me, this time next week on TalkSport. Second leg of this one is next Tuesday night, and that's here on TalkSport as well. Chelsea, as things stand at the moment, will have a first leg lead. They're a goal to the good. 57% of the possession tonight, and nearly twice as many completed passes. That makes it sound, in conjunction with the scoreline, as though it's been a very comfortable night. It hasn't been. It's been a disjointed Chelsea performance, but they've been slightly better in the second half. Werner's brought the ball forward there, and just bereft of ideas, ended up tackling himself, really, and giving possession away. It's been won back now by Kovacic, who can find Havertz in the midfield. Little layoff came from Mount. Back from Jorginho to Kovacic, into the feet of Kai Havertz again, who scored in both legs of a tie against Porto last season in his Bayer Leverkusen days in the Europa League. High ball in from Reece James here is blocked, and it comes off Zaidu and goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Chelsea right-hand side, down near the corner flag that they're attacking. Still PSG leading 2-1 at Bayern Munich. Chelsea a goal to the good in the away leg against Porto, being played on neutral territory. Rudiger letting fly from distance. Oh, the goalkeeper spilt it. Werner knocks it square and he's bundled in, and Chelsea have a second goal. No, the flag is up. Havertz have put it in, but the flag was up and it doesn't count. It will be looked at, but
I think it went wide, Jim.
It can't have done.
I swear he's missed this.
He has. Well, the offside flag has spared his blushes, but saved by the goalkeeper. Werner then did really well to knock it square. Havertz, coming into it under duress, has contrived somehow to bundle it wide from 6 yards out.
That's unbelievable. He's got to be praying that. Well, got to be praying that was offside. We've not seen conclusive evidence of that, but I think it was Werner that was in an offside position. First of all, as the shot came in from Rudiger, it wasn't a great shot. It was a bit bobbly, and the keeper spilled it. And actually, it was the right thing for Werner to do, because he was so close to the goalkeeper, he was only ever going to hit him. He squares it to Havertz, who's 6 yards out, a yard inside the post, and he toe pokes it wide in open goal. It comes off the back, or off the backboards, whatever they are. The advertised order was very, very close to the goal.
It did take a nick off the defender, a slight nick. It was going wide anyway.
You've got to. I mean,
absolutely.
It's fortunate that it's offside in the end, but again, it just goes to show that Havertz You've got to score from an open goal from 6 yards out.
Well, the phrase unbelievable is overused without a shadow of a doubt when it comes to the great sporting arenas, but that was an unbelievable miss. Pulisic's being spoken to by Thomas Tuchel, who's talking him through what he wants to see when he comes on presently. And Chelsea have a corner.
Giroud as well with his top off.
In comes the corner from James. Headed towards goal by Havertz and blocked straight away. Goes out of play for a throw. The double change for Chelsea isn't going to be made yet. We just passed the hour mark. It's Porto 0. Chelsea 1. Chelsea next in action away to Crystal Palace. 5:30 Saturday, and you can hear it live on Talk Sport with Nigel Adley and Dean Ashton.
Can you guess who's coming off, Jim? I'm going to go Werner and Havertz.
It might not be too far wide of the mark.
I'll be very surprised if it's not, that's for sure.
Here is Havertz in possession down by the corner flag. 62 on the clock. Chilwell's done well. Chilwell's done very well, because having ridden the first challenge, he flicks it away from Mbemba, who dived in late, caught him, and that is a free kick and a yellow card for Chancellor Mbemba, the first yellow card of the game.
I'm sure there was too much contact in that. I think Chilwell saw him coming. He did it as a wild swing. Didn't get anywhere near the ball, and maybe Chilwell made the most of it. Just going to catch a replay. I'm still not convinced there's much contact there, if any. But it was wild.
Well, Mbemba gets the yellow. Reminiscent of one of my golf swings off the tee, that. Made no contact.
Bit rusty, Jim, were you, last week or so?
No, to be honest, I've been practicing that air shot during lockdown. Here's James standing over this free kick. Chilwell stands over it as well. It's a really good angle for Chelsea to work inside the box. James in towards the near post area, and the heads go up for it, and it's come off Azpilicueta. But he's got too strong a contact on it and diverts it wide.
It's a great clearance from Azpilicueta, isn't it? Again, he's a free header just past the near post, and really sort of smacks against his forehead as he throws himself at it. A slightly lesser touch, and that's in the back of the net.
Well, Chelsea wanted to make the double change before the goal kick was taken, and haven't been allowed to do so. And Pulisic was quite animated on the bench, making the point that the fourth official should have told the referee that it was at that juncture that the change was necessary. Giroud and Pulisic, the players coming on.
Yeah, he's got a point, isn't he? You know, the fourth official should be in contact with the referee, you know, however that is, and say, look, next time the ball goes out, I want to make a substitution.
Manafau works it back for Mbemba. Now it'll be cleared, right-footed by the goalkeeper Marchesine. Volley back by Kovacic, and now the change can be made. We're 19 minutes into the second half.
Werner knew. The moment the ball went out of play, he just turned and started walking before the ball even went up. He just knew he was coming off.
So number 11, the first number to be shown, and Pulisic is on for him. And Olivier Giroud surely will be replacing Kai Havertz, who does just run a right hand through his hair as he leaves the field. Hasn't been the night for the two Germans, not unfortunately for the first time this season. So a double change made, and Giroud, who scored 4 goals on this ground earlier this season, is on for the last 25 minutes, and Pulisic on as well.
You know, sometimes you feel sort of justified as a pundit. when you've been given sort of players stick, and you're just wondering, is it just me that's only seeing this? Surely, you know, a top coach like Tuchel can see that, you know, that they're really poor at the moment. But yeah, definitely the right changes.
Now Reece James has made a challenge inside his penalty area, and there was a massive appeal from the Porto players, and I think the incident is going to be looked at. James coming back, trying to stay goal side of Zaidou, and he just stopped his run, and he just used the strength of his right shoulder. Zaidou carried into it, knew that contact was going to be made, and then went to ground.
Never a penalty.
Now Marega is saying that it was an elbow thrown. It certainly wasn't an elbow thrown. He might just have left the elbow knowing that Zaidou was going to continue his run, but the officials have got that right, and it's going to restart with a throw.
Yeah, never in a million years is that a foul or a penalty. No chance. He just stops in his track, puts his body in between ball and man.
Jorginho sweeps the throw away. Volley down towards halfway. Picked up at the back by Manafar. and then Mbemba has been fouled, and it's a free kick. Thomas Muller's equalised for Bayern Munich. PSG 2 up inside half an hour, but with an hour gone, it is 2-2 in that game, which is developing into a classic. Live for you right now over on Talk Sport 2. Bayern Munich 2, PSG 2.
Bayern without their 2 top strikers as well, aren't they?
Absolutely.
In that game. I'm not sure if they'll both be back for the second leg.
Kovacic played forward towards Pulisic. Rudiger now to Chilwell, and swiftly back for Rudiger on the left-hand touchline, trying to work it down the line, and Manafort sliding in has just diverted it over the line and out of play. The throw that will be taken on the Chelsea left-hand side. They have lost only one of their last 15 European away games, Chelsea, which is a really impressive record. They've won 11 of them as well, which makes it even better. They won defeat coming against Bayern last season, as Chilwell catches his man this time, and it's another free kick that will be given for a foul on Corona. And the record under Thomas Tuchel prior to kick-off tonight, 10 wins, just the 1 defeat from his 15 games, and scored 19, conceded 7, 5 of them which came in that game against West Brom. And he has changed the back line, 2 of the 3 starting centre halves from the weekend, and not starting tonight, but it has been a much improved defensive-minded performance from Chelsea. Credit where it's due for that. They haven't been at their best, but they've been much better than they were at the weekend. Rudiger able just to watch this one back for Mendy, who will be able to pick it up. Some of the body language from the Porto players now a little bit negative. You've seen Otavio throwing his arms up, and perhaps they feel as though this is not necessarily running away from them, but Chelsea looking more and more comfortable and able to win a succession of free kicks just to fragment the play. Now Kovacic has done that just here, and it's a free kick which Chelsea will take inside their own half, and we're halfway through the second half on Talk Sport as Rudiger plays it forward, and the back header is guided away from Chilwell by Corona to find his keeper.
And just looking at the Chelsea sort of lineup, Thiago Silva, if fit, I think comes into that instead of Christensen. That makes them stronger.
Marega chasing, Rudiger there first, hooks it away.
You've still got the pace of Rudiger, alongside him. Lots of experience in there as well, obviously with Azpilicueta. 2 good wing backs. Midfield 2 is pretty decent, it's very decent with Jorginho and Kovacic. Mount's always going to play, and it's just trying to find that combination up front, isn't it? Whether it's going to be Pulisic, going to be Giroud, is it going to be Ziyech? Who's it going to be? I mean, Chelsea, even under Frank, have struggled to find.
Marega on the turn, and Mendy dives down to his right-hand side to make a comfortable save, and a shot was probably going wide.
Yeah, struggled to find that attacking combination that works on a regular basis. Decent save from Mendy. Don't think it was going to squeak in the corner.
Chelsea will play out from the back again. Jorginho finding Christensen working wide out towards Azpilicueta. Just couldn't find Reece James, and it came off the chest of Grujic. Goes out towards Luis Diaz. He's got 3 pink-shirted Chelsea players around him. And Zaidu has done well and rides the challenge of Azpilicueta, who's fouled him right on the touchline. And it'll be a free kick which will be taken by Porto, not too far adrift to the edge of the penalty area, and more appeals from the Porto players that a yellow card should be shown. In terms of the disciplinary situation, incidentally, Kovacic, the only Chelsea player on the pitch at the moment who is a yellow card away from a ban, although Ziyech is as well if he comes on. And the replay shows that Zaidu had made his way forward. Azpilicueta mistimed his challenge subtly enough to make sure that on his way down he just caught the back of the leg of Zaidu.
It's a trip, isn't it? Nothing more than that. Zaidu is rolling around. I mean, it's some serious acting going on there.
I think he's going to be okay. I've just got a suspicion that he's going to be all right.
The way he went down, I'm expecting him to be stretchered off and miss the next 6 months. He then started rolling around, banging the floor and all sorts, like he's in all sorts of distress. And look, he's rolled his sock down, rolled it up again, and he's okay.
But he has won his side a free kick, and Chelsea have got a line of players defending this on the edge of the penalty area. Mbemba is between them. Grujic is in there as well, probably the tallest of the lot, just about 6'3", 6'4", and Pepe at the far post Giroud keeping an eye on him. It's worked into a more central area. Reece James can head it away, and then it's swept back by one of the Porto players all the way back to his goalkeeper. And it was another poor free kick, and there have been a few of those tonight. High ball swung by the goalkeeper out to the Porto left, headed away easily, and out for a throw that will be taken on that Porto left-hand side. You're listening to Porto against Chelsea in the Champions League. It's live on TalkSport with Music Magpie, the place to get great value refurbished phones and tech. As again a challenge goes on one of the Porto players inside the penalty area. More appeals, vociferous ones from Conceição on the bench that it should be a penalty. And the referee, as the ball goes out of play for a throw, has just asked for the play to be halted before the restart. And that was a push with the palm of the hand of Azpilicueta on the back of Marega. The VAR had a look at it, but no penalty.
And I think this is where 95% of the time the Champions League get the VAR right. Because, yes, Azpilicueta, he does have his hand on the back of his shirt, but it's not a push. You've got to accept that this is football. There is going to be contact from time to time, and yes, just because I put my hand on your back doesn't mean that's enough to push you over and give a penalty. Good refereeing.
Kylian Mbappe has scored again, live over on TalkSport 2. Bayern Munich 2, PSG 3. Some game that. Well, that would be, well, a step towards meaty revenge for the Parisians. Thomas Tuchel's old side and his current one leading their respective away legs in the Champions League tonight on the TalkSport network.
That's in the Allianz, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, is it the next game's? Is that the Parc de France?
I believe so.
Yeah. I confuse it with all the pandemic rules and regulations, and not quite sure where home games are, where away games are at the moment. Great result if PSG can hold on to that.
Cool, not much. Otavio towards the edge of the area. Here's Uribe, back for Marega, trying to thread it in. Christensen a little bit awkwardly, but very effectively dug it clear with his right foot, got it out of play. Ben Chilwell survives a decent handball shout, and then as it's played forward, he's clipped it straight out of play. The manager acting as the ball boy.
I'm not sure it was out of play, Jim.
Well,
he might have stepped on the pitch here.
He's going to get a yellow card. Sergio Conceição just being calmed down by the referee, who obviously decided that as the ball came down, I thought it had curved over the line, and I guess Conceição did as well. He retrieved it and handed it to one of his players, but has been given a yellow card.
So if it was out of play, why has he been given a yellow card? That's what I don't understand.
And play started with the throw, not a drop ball.
Yeah, so there's no reason, is there?
Chilwell playing it forward off Otavio. That one has gone out of play, and it's a throw which will be taken. Just having another look at the penalty claim against Azpilicueta. Marega going down.
Yeah, it goes down way too easily. The first shout from the referee, who had it in a real good position, he put his arms out wide and said no penalty, play on. The VAR did check it and agreed with the referee immediately.
Certainly wasn't a clear and obvious error. Chilwell has been fouled here. And it's a free kick which will be taken on the Chelsea left.
VAR seems to trust the on-field official a little bit more, I think, in the Champions League. They don't refer as much. They don't take as long either, do they, to go over and over situations. I mean, yes, there's always the exceptions to that, but majority of the time they have a quick look at it and go, no, happy with that. The on-field referee is correct. Play on.
Well, clear and obvious is the key phrase.
Yeah, and when you're having to look at 17 different replays to decide if it's clear and obvious, it's not clear and obvious, is it?
Here's Pulisic. Play down the Chelsea left for Kovacic. Good ball retention from him. Pulisic then just got nudged in the back by Otavio. Made nothing of it. He could dispense with the ball to the feet of Christensen. Back from Kovacic now to Azpilicueta. We're in the final 15 minutes of this first leg. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 with Mason Mount's goal. More than 40 minutes ago now, difference between the two teams. Azpilicueta lumps it forward, and it will roll over the line and out of play for a goal kick that will be taken away to the left-hand side by Marchesine. Don't forget, following all of this evening's football, the only place on national radio you can have your say straight after the final whistle is the Sports Bar. Very interesting to hear Jason Cundy's assessment of Chelsea's performance tonight. He's with Andy Goldstein. They're here from 10 Monday to Thursday, rounding up the night's action. Call 08717 223344 to book your call. That's the Sports Bar on TalkSport tonight. 14 to go, 1-0 to Chelsea. Free kick taken, Marega chases after it, nods it on, and the ball was of secondary importance for both Marega and Rudiger for a moment. They were just getting involved in a strong arm tussle between the pair of them. Rudiger won it, and it goes out of play. There's the ball for a goal kick that will be taken by Edouard Mendy away to our right-hand side. Chelsea 12 away wins and 4 defeats in all competitions this season, beaten in the Premier League at Everton and Wolves, and Arsenal and Leicester. Away from home, they've had some notable scalps, Liverpool and Tottenham, and 4 out of 4 in the Champions League on the road so far. About to make that 5 out of 5, albeit that this one is on neutral territory. Mendy playing it out from the back, finds Christensen. I'm surprised that Porto haven't made a change up to this point.
They've just lacked a little bit of guile, haven't they, in the final third. I mean, they've put Chelsea under some severe pressure at times. Just a little bit more creativity. Possibly could have gotten their goal, but on the attack again.
Marega with a nice little layoff at the start of this move. The subsequent layoff wasn't nearly so good, and that allowed Chelsea the opportunity to get it away. Pepe will run after it, make sure the back pass, he goes back for his goalkeeper Marchesine, who clears it into the empty red bucket seats with white seats spelling out 1890, the year of Sevilla's formation. And it's going to be Chelsea who will make changes 3 and 4 in a moment, with Thiago Silva and Conte, the players who will be coming on.
I know Conte's not the tallest, but those shorts I think have come below his knee. Surely could have got him a slightly smaller pair of shorts. There's no gap, is there, between the socks and the shorts?
Yeah, they look as though they're not his. Here's Grujic. It could be Grujic's.
Well, they look like he's got changed next to Rudiger, and he's got Rudiger's shorts on.
Ball played by Grujic down towards the right-hand side. Oh, just missed Marega. Couldn't take it into his stride, and Chelsea will be able to knock it away. Brought back down on the halfway line by Manafas. A nice touch. Takes it away from Pulisic. Talked about Havertz and Werner not being able to get into the game. The dynamic of the match has changed. There's a wonderful ball forward towards the edge of the penalty area for Luis Diaz. Azpilicueta defended well, and James can do the rest. We've seen very little of Giroud since he's come on. He just hasn't been involved at all. James will be able to clear down the Chelsea right. Headed back by Mbemba. Coming to meet it. Kovacic just mistimed it. Otavio nudged it past him. Marega trying to hold it up. Play it back for Otavio again, and he tripped at the vital moment, and Chelsea will bring it away, and that was none too subtle in stopping Pulisic making his way through the midfield. That's an easy decision, a yellow card.
That's back to the Danny Mills days of stopping players in their tracks. That's
back to the Ben Thatcher days of stopping players. That was Grujic, yellow card.
That's just a blatant shoulder charge. But double substitution coming up. I picked the last one. You know, that was quite easy. I've no idea who's coming off. Thiago Silva coming on. No one's been that bad at the back, have they? Not sure. Conte, not sure who he's going to come on for in midfield either.
Well, we'll find out in a moment. Shall I have a guess? I'm going to guess that Mason Mount will be the first player coming off. I laugh because the camera has already panned to him vacating the scene. So Conte for Mount, and Thiago Silva is just waiting.
That's just to save his legs, do you think, Jim? Because, I mean, he's been Chelsea's best player, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
he's the one that's getting on the ball.
It's James.
Must be going to a back four. No.
Yeah, Azpilicueta at right back.
Right.
Azpilicueta at right wing back. So they're staying with the three. So it's Christensen and it's Thiago Silva in the middle, and Rudiger on the left of the three centre halves. And Azpilicueta moving out to right wing back.
Well, that's what, right wing back. It's a slightly strange change, isn't it? Very defensive. Maybe he's thought, look, we haven't been great tonight. We haven't been playing particularly well. Let's just get away with a 1-0.
10 minutes to do exactly that. Pulisic clipping a great ball forward. It might get better yet. Azpilicueta hoisting it back in. It was all he could do to keep it in. couldn't get the weight right on the pass. Chelsea will be able to pick it up again. 20 yards outside the Porto penalty area. Kovacic back for Pulisic. Now Kovacic again to Pulisic, who was showing no ill effects of that strong arm challenge from Grujic a few moments ago. Pulisic trying to help it round the corner, can't do so. Marega will be able to turn and bring it away, and a good foot in from Chilwell. What was it? Jorginho, I beg your pardon, wins it back, and side puts it back for Edouard Mendy. 9 to go. Bayern 2, PSG 3, and in this one it remains Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Manchester United in action tomorrow night in the Europa League. 7 p.m. build-up with Hugh and Dean Ashton alongside me for Granada against Manchester United here on Talk Sport tomorrow. And we'll also keep you up to date with events from Arsenal against Slavia Prague. And then Championship action, Watford Reading. 2 of the top 6 go head-to-head at Vicarage Road Friday night. And that's live on Talk Sport 2. Chelsea have it at the back and just calming things down with Thiago Silva, using the weight of his significant experience. Man who was on the books of Porto very briefly, way back in the day. Last time he played against Porto some 9 years ago, he scored. And he's on for the final 10 minutes or so of this game, playing in the middle of the 3 centre-halves and hoping it's a slightly more successful contribution than he had at the weekend. Porto are now going to make a triple change, and the manager's son Chico Conceição is one of the players who will be coming on. He's a very talented left-footed winger who usually plays on the right. Conte driving forward, he's done well to win possession. N'Golo Conte running towards the edge of the penalty area. He didn't have too many options either side of him, and that allowed Mbemba the opportunity to come across and make a block challenge to get it away. They've been able to force it forward where Marega can't quite hold it up, but it is put out of play for a Porto throw, and they can make the changes now with 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, unfortunately for N'Golo Conte, there was nowhere for him really to go in that situation. He was looking for a square pass, but he was so quick to win the ball and break forward, nobody had been able to get up with him. But just looking at it as it stands across the board, some fantastic second legs coming up next week, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely, nothing cut and dried at all, and we'll bring you the best coverage of them here on Talk Sport. So the triple change, Chico Conceição on, Fabio Vieira, who, like Conceição, was in the Portuguese under-21 side that beat England in the European Championships last week. He's coming on as well, and so too Tony Martinez, the former West Ham striker, who scored a 94th minute winner at the weekend as Porto beat Santa Clara 2-1. It was an excellent header from him right at the end of stoppage time, and he's on as well. So a triple change being made. Moussa Marega has come off. Manafa, the right back, has also come off for Porto. Kovacic has got the ball in the midfield, played neatly round the corner, and he can make a good driving run and find Pulisic, who's hit the junction of post and bar, and it bounces to safety. It could so easily have been 2 to Chelsea.
Unbelievable strike, absolutely magnificent from Pulisic. Let the ball run across him, fires it in at the near post, and somehow it stays out. It hits it hits the junction, but also the underside of the bar at the same time, doesn't it? From that angle, how that has stayed out, I don't know.
Well, it could have been 2-0, and you would feel that would just about be an insurmountable hurdle for Porto to be able to get over. 2 away goals, and then Chilwell is in now after a defensive error. Chilwell drawing the keeper, has gone round him, taps it in with his right foot, and Chelsea, on a night where they haven't really covered themselves in glory, are going to take a massive step towards the Champions League semi-finals. A bad mistake by Corona. Ben Chilwell robbing him, going through on goal, drawing the goalkeeper, flicking it round him, tapping it into the empty net on his right foot, and Ben Chilwell has the goal that gives Chelsea a 2-0 lead.
Well, I mean, great anticipation from Ben Chilwell. Great for the headline writers, that one, isn't it, with Jesus Corona giving the ball away there. But it was almost a little bit like slow motion as Chilwell ran through. I think, is he going to shoot? No, he dragged it with his left foot, went past the goalkeeper, and then slowly just let the ball run forward and then tapped it into an empty net with his right foot. I mean, great anticipation to be onto that poor touch. And now Chelsea must be rubbing their hands together. I said at 1-0, they'll come away from this and go, you know what, we've got away with one. Now, it looks like a really good result. The performance hasn't been brilliant, but it's been enough.
Well, they've got better as the night has gone on. Defensively, in this second half, to be fair, they have just suffocated the midfield and stopped Porto having any worthwhile chances. Conceição cutting a very disconsolate figure on the Porto bench. And Chelsea haven't created too many chances. Just missed one moments ago with Pulisic, which would have been an outstanding goal, and then Ben Chilwell a minute later making up for that. And Chelsea lead by 2-0.
Yeah, you can't afford to give any team a leg up in Champions League quarter-finals. And that was a really poor mistake, you know, to have the touch, got away from him. But Chilwell was onto it quick as a flash. And I have to say, for a left wing back, really cool finish. You know, to be running in one-on-one, plenty of time to think about it, to drag it past the goalkeeper, keep his composure, and then tap it into an empty net. Fair play to him.
Third goal in Chelsea colours, and his first for the club in Europe. Big moment for Ben Chilwell. Really well taken, seizing upon the error from Corona. And as soon as he needed that second touch, Chilwell just dispossessed him in quick as a flash. Nothing that Marchesín could do about it. And Chilwell just rolling it into the net. Great finish, great goal from Chelsea. They lead by 2-0. Here's N'Golo Kanté. Played it out towards the right-hand touchline. Another opportunity to try and get Azpilicueta in. It's dealt with by Zaidu and goes out of play. Well, Chelsea with an outstanding record in the quarter-finals of this competition, and set, you would think, to be able to extend it. Well, the performance of the weekend will be still a cautionary shot across the bows. It will get mentioned ahead of the second leg, just to make sure that there is no overconfidence. But what a scoreline as far as Chelsea are concerned this evening. Jorginho out to the right, flanked for Azpilicueta. Back from Jorginho again. Pulisic to Kovacic. And Chelsea certainly in the mood now. They've got the game by the scruff of the neck. They know that, and they might be able to get themselves out of sight in the moments that remain, because Porto look as though they're wilting.
The thing is, at 2-0, away goals are almost irrelevant, aren't they? They don't really make much difference, you know, because whatever happens to go through, Porto are going to have to score 3, you know, in the second leg. And you're thinking, can they really score 3 against Chelsea? I think that's very unlikely.
Grujic back from Mbemba to him again. We'll have Sergio Oliveira back for the second leg. They'll have made it to Raimi back as well. Here's Conceição, diminutive winger, smaller and more slightly built than his dad, who had some career himself. Ball played inside the penalty area, but being knocked away by Ben Chilwell. Sergio Conceição won the European Cup Winners' Cup under Sven-Göran Eriksson when he was a Lazio player at the back end of the 90s. And Chico making his way, still waiting to make his first start for Porto, but a nice piece of history. The Conceiçãos have emulated the Cruyffs, with Chico playing for his dad in a Champions League tie, which is something that Jordi did for Johan in his career. Here's Fabio Vieira in the midfield. Grujic way down towards Conceição. Conceição now taking the ball and running with pace towards the edge of the penalty area. Plenty of tricks and step overs, but Chilwell could effect the block, and it goes out of play for a throw. And we're almost in stoppage time. Chelsea leading by 2-0. Mount on 32 and Chilwell on 85. Chance to throw the ball in from the right-hand touchline, which Corona will take. High one launched in towards the near post. Chilwell with a header away. Back for Corona again, onto his left foot this time. Plenty of air underneath that. Mendy comes out, claims it well, and we go to 3 minutes of stoppage time with the ball in the hands of the Chelsea goalkeeper now.
Good take from the Chelsea keeper. Just what you need as a defender. You know, when you're just going to come under a little bit of pressure. Cross was too high. swung in too high, too deep, and a real good take from Mendy. Just a little bit surprised he didn't go to ground and just kill a little bit more time.
Emerson's going to be coming on in a moment, as he did late on in the game against Atletico Madrid, when there was still time for him to score. Thiago Silva playing it forward. Jorginho almost caught in possession. Wasn't quite a ball that had a red cross on it, but he was able to get it away quickly under duress. Here's Conte making his way forward now to his right-hand side for Kovacic. Good movement outside him from Azpilicueta. He's got a scamper to keep it in play. He lost the battle, and he goes out of play down by the corner flag for a goal kick. And the change will be made, and Emerson is the man that will come on, and Kovacic is the player who he will replace.
Yeah, it's just not wasting time, obviously, but it's just killing momentum. It's just trying to take the final little bit of wind out of the Porto sails. But Chelsea, first half were poor this evening. They've been much better in the second half. Porto haven't been as effective, haven't really troubled Mendy in the second half. So I have to say that, on the balance of it, Chelsea have turned it around. 1-0 would have been a good result. 2-0 after this performance is an excellent result.
Pepe sends it wide. Ball controlled on the right flank by Corona. Played forward by him, Tony Martinez, who only made 3 appearances in his time at West Ham, nods it down. Conceição, neat and tidy, finding Vieira. Fabio Vieira under pressure in the midfield from Pulisic. Played out towards Pepe, worked forward again towards the edge of the box, and a free kick given away by Christensen. And in the final moments, Porto have a set piece for the foul on Luis Diaz. Now an opportunity to halve the deficit and just give themselves a little bit of hope.
60 seconds just to defend. Concentration. Go and attack the ball. That's what you want to do.
Edouard Mendy. It's just asked for not quite a wall when it's only got one in it, a brick, just outside the penalty area. Fabio Vieira stands over this. There will be a ball teased towards the aerial targets. The 3 minutes of stoppage time all but up. There has been a substitution within stoppage time, so probably another 40-45 seconds left to play. Chelsea just need to stand firm here. Left-footed ball flicked inside the box. Heads go up for it, misses everybody. Hooked back in by Martinez, but over the goal and out of play for a goal kick. And by the time Mendy takes it, the referee will be ready to blow the full-time whistle.
Yeah, it was just over the head of Mbemba, wasn't it? It was very, very close. Rudiger's just gone down with, I'm guessing, cramp. I think he might have just been offside. Had that have caught his head, had he been able to get a header on target. Rudiger hobbling away, but I think we're expecting that once this goal kick goes into the air, referee will blow his final whistle.
Well, Mendy will make sure that is the case. Running the clock down, strikes the ball forward right-footed, and the full-time whistle blows at the end of the first leg in Chelsea's first Champions League quarter-final for 7 years. For large swathes of the game, it wasn't a vintage performance. The result, though, immaculate. Goals from Mason Mount against the run of play just past the half-hour mark, and Ben Chilwell, 5 minutes from time, have given the Blues a massive platform for a semi-final tie against Liverpool or Real Madrid. First leg in Seville finishes Porto 0, Chelsea 2.